Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. If you've ever been around kids, you know that sometimes they don't want to do what adults ask them to do. This is normal, and protesting against having to do things they don't want to do is a sign of healthy self-expression and the development of a sense of autonomy. Compliance to demands is not a valuable goal in its own right. It would be a bad thing for children to always do what they're told, because we want them to stand up for themselves and to do the right thing even when other people tell them to do otherwise. However, sometimes children don't even have their own best interests in mind when they make choices, which is why learning to follow reasonable instructions from safe and trusted adults is so important. For example, most toddlers would not brush their teeth, eat vegetables, or put down the iPad at bedtime unless they were instructed to do so by a caregiver. So that's why we need to establish something called instructional control with our young learners. This describes a trusting relationship between the learner and their therapist, teacher, or caregiver so that the learner is willing to follow reasonable instructions from them. Here are some ways to establish instructional control. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's get started. 1. Build rapport with your learner. If the learner doesn't like you, they are much less likely to listen to you. Make sure to spend just a few minutes every day just being present with them, following their lead when choosing activities, and making things as fun as possible. I'm going to make a separate video about rapport building so that I can go into more detail about this. 2. Pick your battles. If you sense that placing a certain demand might evoke disruptive or dangerous behavior, ask yourself, is it worth it? Does the child need to do this? Am I prepared to stand my ground if the child refuses? 3. Get the child motivated to participate. If you expect resistance, proactively offer something in exchange for completing the task. You can use a first-then statement such as, first brush your teeth, then we can play outside. 4. Use priming. This just means giving the learner a heads up before they have to do the task. Instead of interrupting their favorite TV show with a task that needs to be done right away, it might be less unpleasant to say, in 5 minutes, you need to take a break from TV to clean your room. 5. Deliver one instruction at a time. Try not to bombard your learner with multiple demands at a time. Wait until they've completed one task before presenting another. 6. Incorporate choices. If you let your learner have some freedom with how or when they can complete the task, it might not be so unpleasant. One example would be to present a demand like this. Would you rather clean up your toys before or after dinner? Or like this. What color toothbrush do you want to use to brush your teeth? 7. Be clear and concise. It's important to make sure that your learner understands what you're saying. And learners who are very young or who might have developmental or intellectual disabilities might need you to use fewer words and speak extra clearly. 8. Give your learner time to respond before repeating your instruction. Little ones, as well as learners with certain disabilities, might need about 10 seconds to process what you said before responding. 9. Remember, you're not a broken record. Teach your learner that your words have meaning by not repeating yourself unnecessarily. If you've used my other recommendations and you're still not getting a response after about 10 seconds or so, go ahead and repeat yourself, but make sure to help the learner complete the task as you do so. This could mean approaching to position yourself in the learner's line of sight, or politely removing something that might be distracting them. If the learner doesn't know what you're asking them to do, or is having a hard time with the task, you can use gestures to point them in the right direction, demonstrate how to do the task, or you could use hand-over-hand prompts if the learner is comfortable with this. You should not use hand-over-hand prompts if the learner is resistant or uncomfortable, and physical prompts should not be used to force compliance. 10. Make sure to provide reinforcement when the learner does what you ask, so that they are more willing to follow your instructions in the future. This could be as simple as providing specific praise, like, wow, I really like how you follow directions. Some learners might also need tangible reinforcement, like a token system to earn a special prize, or access to an extra special preferred activity in order to be adequately motivated. You can figure out what to use as a reinforcer using a preference assessment, which I'll cover in another video. And those are the basics of instructional control. Thank you for watching.